During the Bellator card headlined by Marlos Kunin and Julia Budd, one of the other big stories from that event was Justin Wren coming up with another victory, which brings his record, I believe, to 13-2 right now, which is actually pretty impressive in a division at heavyweight that really isn't all that impressive in itself. Obviously, the next day, the UFC fight card came along. There were a couple of notable heavyweight fights there on the undercard. There was Mark Godbeer versus Daniel Spitz. That wasn't a terribly exciting fight. Neither of those two really looked all that exciting. And then you also had Marcin Tybura versus Luis Enrique. And again, same type of deal. Neither of those guys looked amazing. Heavyweight is the one division in MMA right now that needs prospects the most. A lot of the top guys right now are over 30, and that's including Stipe Miocic. But a lot of the other guys, they're in their late 30s. We're kind of waiting on the next crop of guys to come along. Obviously, Francis Gano appears to be the biggest upcoming star right now, but the sport needs more, and for a guy like Justin Wren, who's surprisingly still under 30 himself, even as a guy who is on the old tough heavyweights, he's a guy where if Bellator keeps a hold of him, maybe they got something there. If the UFC can get him, maybe they've got something there. But one of the things that came up is after his victory, Ariel Helwani had tweeted that he felt like with his storyline, with the whole big pygmy thing, fight for the forgotten, and a lot of the stuff that he does out in the Congo, that on top of his fighting, but mostly that is going to help build him into a star. And I wanted to talk about whether I believe that the idea of there being a guy who's just a really good guy and becoming a star off of that, whether that's actually a real argument or whether it's a nice thing to have, but it really isn't all that important. And in my opinion, I think it's a nice thing to have, but I don't think it's all that important. It's great to hear from Justin Wren. It's great to hear his story about how he helps all the people in the Congo, how he builds wells with the pygmies. This is all great stuff. But again, if you're trying to draw for a fight, I don't know that storyline makes me exceptionally interested. It's one of those things where if I'm already watching, it's like, oh, Justin Wren's up. Then it's like, okay, cool. You know, he's got a cool story. He's a pretty good fighter in his own right. He has a really good wrestling background. I'm interested to see what he can do. But in sports in general, I just haven't seen guys who are great guys becoming great stars because they're great guys. And you see it a lot where, especially in team sports, where a lot of these guys like to visit children's hospitals in the area. A lot of them like to donate a lot of money, up to the point where you've got a guy like PK Subban, who in his time in Montreal for the Canadians had pledged $10 million to the children's hospital out there. Now he's in Nashville. But again, he's sticking to that. When he went out to Montreal to play, he had talked to them and kind of said, okay, fine, I'm going to stick with it. We'll keep with it. But again, he's a big star more for his antics, more for how he plays, more for the fact that he's a great player. Obviously, I believe he had won a Norris Trophy, so one of the top players in the league. But the aspect with the children's hospital, it's one of those things where if you're already interested, then it might make you a little bit more interested. But if you're not already interested, I don't know that it's going to make you any more interested. So moving forward, I'd like to see what Justin Wren can do. I think he has the potential to be a pretty good prospect in the heavyweight division, but I don't see him and his fight for the forgotten cause being something that's going to make him a superstar. But again, he'll be fun to watch. I'm not sure how many more years of fighting he has left in him, how much he has planned, how often he's going to go out to the Congo and keep helping out there. It's a good story, but again, I don't see it being a story that vaults him into superstardom.